Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Green Lantern issue 20 by Jeremy Adams, Jack Herbert, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. Hal Jordan and his team's search for the fractured spectrum and sorrow continues this issue as sometime before their adventure starts on the planet Alcyon X, Erastus, the blacksmith, finishes working on his new sword for the village chief, Boss Tan. When Erastus tells Tan of payment, the greedy chief tells the blacksmith that he owes quite a bit in back taxes, so he won't be paying for the weapon. Instead, he'll take it as 1 month's payment for taxes. Erastus's life gets worse when his girlfriend soon walks out on him, telling the man that she's off to find another, far better partner. All of this bad luck and life getting in the way of him becomes too much for the alien, and after he is mugged and sees his girlfriend with another man, he flies into a rage, but not just any rage. The red light of rage infects him. Adams does a pretty good job of just building up and compounding on this one guy and how it can just be too much for some people, and just the red rage just takes over, and it preys on the weak and vulnerable, catching people in moments of vulnerability like it did with Erastus. In the present, Erastus attacks Hal, who tries to subdue the alien without hurting him. Hal kicks the alien away, needing to regroup, but as he gets ready for another fight, he finds more of Erastus's victims, this time the chief. There's a note stabbed into his chest saying that it's Erastus's tax payment. Hal being on some sort of investigative mission is a great idea, as it's tapping into the space cop roots of the Lanterns, something I feel haven't been touched in quite a while. It's also great to kind of refamiliarize readers with other Lantern energies outside of green energy willpower and what it can do. Across the galaxy, the Interceptor has arrived at the Source Wall. Kyle believes that they should wait for Hal to meet them, just like he said he would, but Superboy and Odyssey want to go and check out the wall, teasing Kyle that he's too scared and needs to wait for the better Lantern to turn up and give orders. Kyle, not wanting to be shown that he's gone soft in his old age, decides it's time to do some exploring, leading the group into a Promethean temple, which is hidden inside one of the mouths of the giant beings stuck to wall. There's a neat bit of characterization from Odyssey here, as she knows all about the temple. You know, she's someone from the future, so of course she's going to know all about the temple and what it is and what it does. But I also like that it's more so that she knows that it's meant to look like the monolith, and it's meant to, be hiding in plain sight. It's really a big building hidden inside the body of this being, so it kind of gives me like Dr. Aphra vibes. As I said in my last review, she gave off Dr. Aphra vibes, and it seems to be right on the money here, as raiding ancient temples seems to be something she does quite regularly. Also, I love that since Kyle can be a bit of a showboat, he gets an Indiana Jones style whip and hat construct, because that's what you do when you go explore ancient temples. You dress up like Indiana Jones. Kyle explains to his partners that in the temple is an orb of portable source energy, something that you will need to build a central power battery, and it's something that Sorrow will be after to build his own. Before they go any further though, Odyssey knows that the place is filled with traps, and she shows the team all of the traps by throwing a Z-Dust capsule into the air, causing it to burst and reveal the map of the room. Now knowing where all of the traps are, Superboy triggers them all with his super speed. An Indiana Jones style adventure wasn't something that I was expecting to get in a Green Lantern book, but I like how it's providing some variety for the overall mission of stopping Sorrow. The Lanterns aren't just, fighting Sorrow one-on-one. We gotta go get the MacGuffin first, and then they fight him for it there, and then we move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Also, it's a great way to explore the DT cosmos, which the last couple of arcs haven't had a chance to really do so, because they've been, contained at both Earth or Oa as they deal with the Durlan and the United Planet threat. As the heroes move deeper into the temple, Hal continues his battle with Erastus on Alcyon X, desperately trying to keep him calm and stop his rampage. Hal gets a really cool moment here where he kind of armors himself up to look like a Roman centurion, and he gets ready to wear Erastus down and burn off some of the power he has. But unfortunately, he isn't able to stop the alien, and instead it all goes south, as it just makes him angrier. So angry, in fact, that he is able to get through Hal's defenses. Despite this though, the anger proves too much for Erastus himself, and the immense power obliterates the alien, leaving only his blacksmithing hammer. So I think this is being used to kind of set the stakes for the mission beyond stopping Sorrow, since before we just knew the people were just going to get infected by the fractured spectrum. People will just be getting, the red energy or the yellow energy or blue, stuff like that. But it was never explained what would happen to them. And I like showing this, like the power, because it's so unchecked. It'll just obliterate whatever body it's in. So there's now stakes where Hal has now realized that he must now intervene and stop these if he doesn't want any more innocent people killed by the spectrum. Kyle, Superboy, and Odyssey, meanwhile, have already located the source energy orb, and of course, it's just sitting there on a plinth, asking to be taken, like so many golden idols of the past. The team knows this is just another trap and is definitely going to trigger should they take the orb, and one does indeed, as Superboy uses his speed to grab the orb and the temple begins falling apart around them. Keeping up with the Indiana Jones theme here, we get a cool sequence of Kyle making a minecart and track to get them out to safety as the temple crumples around them. Heroes get out just in time as Odyssey laments how the loss of such an ancient, fortune-filled temple is not a good thing, but the team don't have time to celebrate their win as Sorrow and Starbreaker arrive, looking to relieve the team of their source energy orb. Now I really do like how much this is just borrowing from the openers of Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is just Indy getting out of the temple with the idol and then he has to give it up to Belloc. It's just a great reference and I hope Adams continues it with Kyle's side of the plot in the coming issues. It's very fun, very different than what I thought a Kyle Rayner centric plot would be like. Green Lantern issue 20 had some wonderful film references peppered through a great adventure story with Kyle, Superboy and Odyssey that really hit all of the cosmic action adventure points I love about Green Lantern, coupled with Hal's story of battling the fractured spectrum and finding out the stakes are a little bit more higher than he thought. You've got a good issue that builds on the overall Sorrow Starbreaker plot and moves it forward in quite a cool way. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.